Yeah.
Just classes for college and studying. Really, that's it.
Good stuff. Yeah, you're working on extensive potential still. You
Yes,
buzzing it?
sir.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get more in depth, but before we get anywhere, that's Dylan. He's my co-host.
What's up, Dylan?
The
What's
other
up, man? How you
co-host
doing?
couldn't make it tonight. But yeah, let's get right into it. So you answered a few questions, and man, it's an underdog story if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
So why don't you start off a little bit? So you had a growth hormone deficiency. Is that right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So I can't remember when it was diagnosed, but uh, I was pretty young, and I went into the doctors, and they found out that my body just wasn't producing any growth hormone. And for anyone that's listening, that just means that I wouldn't have grown without injecting myself with it. So I had to start doing that, and I did that all the way up through so I was 14. So I did it for like 6 to 8 years, I think. So I had to I had to inject that into myself every night to grow pretty much.
Holy shit, man. That's
Yeah.
legit. That's a
Yeah.
legit disorder. But man, I've been following you on Instagram, and you really like changed everything around. And I watch your stories and all that stuff, and you're like, these people in your DMs hating on you and stuff. And man, it's just
Yeah.
like you just kind of stuck it to them, right?
Yeah, bro. I mean,
Yeah, it's good
I like
stuff.
to let I like to let my actions speak for myself. I'd rather not like say what I'm gonna do. I'd rather just do it, and people can ride with me or they can just not, and that's fine with me.
Hell yeah, man. That's how it's done. That's the underdog life,
Yes, sir.
But yeah. So talk about extensive potential because I witnessed the beginning of it technically, right? Watching it
Yeah.
take off, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Just the
to walk us
beginning.
through that. And I see you had a bunch of Zoom calls, or was that FaceTime, Skype, whatever it was, with a bunch of your clients.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's actually separate. That's
That's
another
separate.
business.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm actually running a separate business helping people like start their online business with my business partner Soren
Gotcha.
Dewey. But yeah, that's separate. But so yeah, extensive potential. I basically just had this idea last November, I think, is when I started like making logos and stuff for it, kind of figuring out like what I wanted the name to be. But I had this vision of just like making programs to like kind of help people uh, find their true strength and like find what they're capable of doing, which is what I did. And I doing so really changed my life in all different aspects, not just being in the gym. It's transformed my mindset. And as cliche as it sounds, it's just spread into every aspect of my life.
Yeah, I mean, how much better does it feel just sharing your knowledge with everyone else? Because obviously you had a turning point in your life where you were like, I'm going to make a change. You said that in your responses, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're kind of doing that for other people. So you've experienced that, and you know what the change is like and what needs to be done. So how's it been going? Like, what's it been like with your clients and all that stuff?
Dude, it gives me so much fulfillment being able to reach out and help people and to see like them reciprocate like the gratefulness that I'm actually reaching out and helping them and providing them with value is super, super great. Like it makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So Dylan, just to catch you up, I know you had some technical difficulties over there, but we were just talking about multiple businesses, but one business that we're talking about now is extensive potential. And pretty much you want to catch him up a little bit on it just because, you're more elaborate
Yeah. Yeah,
description.
Yeah,
bro.
sorry, boys. I don't know what happened. My computer just went blank, so sorry about
No,
that.
you're good. Yeah, bro. So like last November I started I had this vision for creating like a fitness brand and like making programs for people to kind of do what I did and find their true potential. It's in the name, but I feel like so many people go through their lives and they don't find out what they're capable of. And actually, I wrote down this quote right here that I wanted to say on here. This
Yeah,
is
go
kind of
for it.
something I've lived by for the past like 2 years. Once I found it, it's by Socrates. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable of.
I saw it. That's an awesome quote.
Yeah, that says it all right there.
Yes, sir.
And now I'm looking at your Instagram feed right now, and you just I want to say it was yesterday or 2 days ago, just recently, Vital Proteins, right? You signed as an
Yeah.
ambassador. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So can you give any details on that, or is it classified
Uh,
information?
it's kind of confidential. I can't like say what they're paying me or anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm super grateful because like I've been using their products for like the last 6 months, and like their products are great. That's all
Yeah,
I have
man.
to say
I
Yeah.
about
use it too.
that.
It's unreal.
I
I
use
use
the
Yeah,
same one that you had in the picture, the blue collagen protein. I
the
have the same
collagen.
one. Yeah,
I have
Yeah.
100%.
like 3 servings of that every morning.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unreal. And honestly, I've had like serious shin splints over the past few years, and
Oh yeah,
there's nothing like those collagen peptides. Like
right.
I'm not even kidding you. Like I notice a huge difference once I stop taking them. Like after a week or two, I'll have them back, and I get back on it. And it's like I don't know. It's legit. They're a
Bro,
legit company. So
it for real, like it revitalizes your hair, your
yeah,
skin, your nails, your joints, everything, bro.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, you've been your Instagram following is shot up too. That's
Yeah, it has
unreal.
quite a bit. Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
last year I think it was May of last year when I started like building like my page on Instagram. I actually started selling Kino Body stuff. I don't know if you know who Greg Gallagher is.
Yeah, I was
But
researching him because you mentioned him. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I was actually in like an affiliate program. I met a bunch of cool people through that. The program didn't end up working out too well because it kind of was a pyramid scheme. But like a few people were successful with it. Me being one of them, which is why I continued doing it till they closed it down. But yeah, I met so many cool people through that, and I started off with like 750 followers last May, I think.
Last May. Holy,
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that's
yeah,
awesome,
bro.
man.
So yeah,
That's good
it's
stuff.
so cool to like kind of build like almost a tribe of people that are like supportive
Yeah.
and like, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I noticed with Underdog too. Like you get that like tight knit community, and there's honestly nothing like it. Like you got people responding in your DMs, commenting, even like texting you, stuff like that. It's unreal.
right.
It's cool to see like that community build. That's what I built my brand off of, and I know you're doing the same thing. So do you run ads or
Yeah.
anything like that, or is that all organic?
That's all organic.
Wow.
Holy. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
awesome.
Appreciate that.
Word of mouth, man. It's the best way to go.
It
Yeah.
is.
People just sending them to their buddies and stuff, and they'll follow. Do you ever look at the insights on it? Like how many sends do your posts get?
It varies to be honest. Like if it's like a workout video or something, like it'll get shared around a lot. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, it kind of depends.
So I'm looking at this guy right now, Grego Gallagher. I was interested. I was reading a little bit, but so he dropped out a marketing degree program, and I feel like I want your take on this too because I've talked about
Mhm.
this with Dylan and Colin multiple
Yeah.
times. I feel like most successful people, not most, I shouldn't say most, but there's a good chunk of successful people who make it out without even graduating college. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you see it with even the top people, Mark Zuckerberg, like all these guys, they drop out because they have a passion. And I feel like too many people are caught up in a standard education, formal education, whatever you want to call it, and they're
Mhm.
just nose down doing what society expects them to do, but they don't really look up and see what they want to chase in life and what their passion is. And because you see a lot of people when they graduate college, they're just working an office job, they're not interested in it. I saw you wanted to be a K-9 officer, is that right?
Yeah, so I'm actually in college right now. I go to
Yeah,
Missouri
yeah.
State University, so I'm getting my criminology bachelor's degree, and I'm gonna go from there and work my way up to doing that.
Exactly. So, different situation, right? Like you can't
Yeah,
just
right,
drop out and expect to be a high class police officer. But
right.
in terms of starting your own brands and entrepreneurial,
In the
dealing with
business world. Yeah,
yeah,
in the business
Right.
world
exactly in the
specifically,
business
I
world.
feel like, especially nowadays with just how popular technology is and how common it is. I mean, everyone has a smartphone, everyone has a computer. You can grow your business. I mean, you guys are both examples of that. You guys both have your own business all run virtually online. Like, 20 years ago, you couldn't do that. That's why everyone needed a degree. Like now, you don't need that. You can do whatever you want at your
Right.
fingertips. You can run a business. People don't need that degree. And I was trying to find the quote by Elon Musk. Obviously one of the most successful businessmen of our generation. I forget how it goes exactly, but just talking about like how people with a degree, like just because you have a degree doesn't make you intelligent. Like I wish I
Right.
had it because it's kind of, he words it well.
I think I know what you're
But
talking about. Yeah.
just like getting a degree and going to college doesn't make you any more smart or
Well, the
any
main
more
point is like
intelligent.
self-education. Like you go to
Hmm.
school to further your education. I understand that, but I feel like a lot of people don't take the time to, go outside their comfort zone and start a company like you have. And man, how has it been with this whole COVID thing, right? It's all online. It's got to be pretty decent, right?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you guys because like there are some majors like mine. It kind of requires a
Yeah,
degree to like work your way up.
absolutely.
Lawyers, doctors, nurses, like that kind of field, you definitely want to go to college.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But like you said, business, dude, I more than half this school probably has a business degree, and just from that fact alone, is is kind of it makes me scared for some people because they're not all gonna be successful with that, and they're gonna be spending at the end of their 4 years like probably close to 80 grand on a piece
Yeah.
of paper,
And other schools
and
even more than that.
right, yeah, this is
Yeah.
like the
Way
cheapest
more.
option, which is why I
Yeah.
picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah.
100%. But like, even so, there's this one too. This isn't the one I was thinking of, but again, by Elon Musk. Don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did. And like, that just
Yeah.
shows you can be the CEO and run a business. You don't need to go to Harvard, but the people that work for you sure do. Like, that just
Yeah.
shows the difference between being an employee and being the employer or the CEO,
Yeah.
like, just shows the
It,
difference. You can do so
it's
much in the
yeah.
business world.
It's like Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure you know who he is.
Oh
Gary
yeah,
Vee on
for
Instagram,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Millions of followers. He's probably close to 10 million followers now. But he is like the Instagram social media guru. I read all his books, all that stuff, and he, out of everybody, enforces that you don't need to go to get a formal education to be successful. I mean, he's an immigrant. He came over, worked in a liquor store for his parents. Underage, he's selling liquor to other people, and then he started Wine Library TV. He's pretty much the creator of the internet, right? And he was like one of the
Yeah.
original guys, and it's really inspiring. I think a lot of people follow in their footsteps, and that's why you see more and more people, not taking the formal route. Back in the day, you never see that. Everybody was, or I shouldn't say back in the day, people weren't even graduating third grade, but
Yeah.
going to college anyways, it became a norm, and, that became a consistency over the years. But now you're starting to see a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, which that completely makes sense because like the technology we have today wasn't available back then.
Yeah.
So
That was the way out, was college back then, because there
mhm.
was no technology at your fingertips. Now we got laptops, iPhones, freaking iPads. We got everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, why don't we go back a little bit? Because Dylan, I think you cut out talking about that deficiency. Because I really want our listeners to hear about this. Because I feel like a lot of people. I mean, this is a little different because it's an actual disorder, but people have
Yeah.
other disorders where they're struggling to gain muscle or struggling to lose weight. Like all these things come into play in terms of character. Like it took character to get through that and change your lifestyle after that, and become the person you are today. So why don't you
Right.
tell Dylan and our listeners a little more about that?
Yeah, so I actually had two like deficiencies or disorders. So one of them was the growth hormone deficiency. My body couldn't produce enough growth hormone to like build myself up naturally and grow. So I had to like
Very
inject myself
important.
every night with growth hormone. And that honestly wasn't like the biggest thing that I had to overcome. The biggest thing that I've had to overcome in my life is actually this blood disorder called neutropenia. Um, Not a lot of people know what this is. I think I'm trying to think of the statistic. I think it's like 0.0006% of people in the world have it. Um,
Holy.
but
Lucky guy.
it, right, yeah, yeah, 400 trillion to one chance of being alive, and I get
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
Yeah, but so where was I going? Oh yeah, so neutropenia for for people that don't know what it is, it's basically yeah. What's up? Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So neutropenia is your white blood cells basically are depleted, and your white blood cells are what fight off infections. So if you don't have white blood cells, you're kind of screwed. And when it comes to like your immune system and overcoming sicknesses, so basically growing up, I was getting sick like every week, and the doctors didn't know what it was, and they honestly didn't know for years, and I would just keep getting sick. I missed like 60 days of like seventh grade or something like that.
Jeez.
And yeah, dude, it was not fun. And I was weak. I had to quit everything that I was doing. I was a gymnast, level 5 gymnast. I was in like Boy Scouts and stuff. I had to drop all that because I was honestly too sick to even go. And when I was feeling fine, I would be at risk for getting sick again.
Yeah.
So it was this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I had to drop everything, and which honestly made me pretty depressed, even if I wasn't like kind of open about it. I was pretty sad inside, and a lot of people didn't really know what was going on, so they thought that I was just like the weird kid that would like sit alone by himself. And I actually got picked on a lot. I was bullied quite a bit through my middle school years and up through high school, like mid high school. And so I had a pretty tough like upbringing in terms of like being social, and it was hard to overcome for sure. But eventually the doctors kind of figured out what it was. They didn't know why I had it, but basically I would inject myself like every few days with white blood cells to kind of keep my levels neutral at the normal range. And not soon, but once I graduated high school, I was in remission. So my levels kind of stabilized back out, partially from probably being a little bit more healthy, like drinking more water and stuff. But I still wasn't like healthy, if you know what I mean. Like I was like the average person just living. So, but yeah, bro, that's pretty much my story with that.
Yeah. So we talk a lot on this podcast. We're actually in the mental health category on Apple Podcasts because we talk a lot about, the mental aspect of the game and even in life, in the business world, whatever it is. And going back just a little bit, you mentioned you were pretty much in depression. And I mean, that's a lot. Some people haven't experienced it. I feel like a lot of people have, but they don't know it. There's definitely a small portion of people who have had depression and they don't even realize it. And there's a difference between depression and stress, and it's a whole different demon, and coming out of it is very difficult. So where was your mind at? Like, did you think it was a hole that you wouldn't have been able to get out of? Like, were you determined to get out of it? Where was your mind at?
That's actually kind of what segments into the change of like where I kind of like shifted my perspective. So like once I overcame the blood disorder, like I was happy that I overcame it, but like still I wasn't doing very well socially. I wasn't hanging around the right people. Just like I almost like had this lasting kind of like sense of hopelessness in a way, and I was like anxious. I actually had to be put on like mood stabilizers and like anxiety medicine for like generalized anxiety and stuff like that, which is kind of where I woke up one morning in my freshman year in college, and I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, man, like I could be doing so much better. Like just physically, mentally, spiritually, I lost my path with God. I lost myself in my head, and physically I was just out of shape. I was skinny, I was underweight, and I just wasn't proud of who I was. So having all of that stuff happen as I grew up, being bullied, having this rare blood disorder, growth hormone deficiency, I felt like the world was almost out to get me. But I didn't realize that it was up to me to make the change in my life, to start being happy, to start progressing in my own way, and build my own happiness and not look for it in other things. So that's where I started to like work out, started to pray more, to read the Bible, and started hanging around with the right people. And that's kind of where my life took a turn for the better.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Joey kind of nailed it on the head there, but like you were saying, that's definitely something we always want to try and ask, our guests that 100% have an underdog story just like yourself. It's just the mental side of it. And that's my kind of two-part question, but was like, yeah, just what motivated you? And Joey kind of said, but what was going on? Like mentally, what did you have to battle and overcome? So, I mean, that's crazy. And that's awesome that you took control and turned it into the best situation you could.
Yeah. So you mentioned returning to God and praying and all this stuff. And I feel like a lot of people, they don't find something to keep them grounded. And that is one thing that the majority of the population, they turn to God. And I feel like it's something in that comfort. Like for me, I turn to, well, yes, God, but also like the gym is my sacred place. And I'm sure it is for you, and I'm sure it is for Dylan as well. It's like you go there and nothing else matters. Whatever happened that day, you're in there and you're focused on the task at hand. And I feel like, a good portion of my friends, family members, they don't have something like that. And I'm like privileged to have something like that where I can kind of disappear from reality,
Dude, that's a great point.
That's my escape. Like, when you go in there, you don't have to worry about anything else going on, whatever it may be, school, work, whatever else is going on in your life. Like for me, when you're in the gym, you don't have to think about anything else. You can just focus on that. And for a lot of people I know, like you said, Joey, that's their escape. It's their anxiety relief,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like so many people my age, like escaping like drugs, alcohol, like Netflix, YouTube, all this unhealthy stuff that's not getting you any further. And in some cases, in most cases, even taking you further back from where you need to be going.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to touch on your future plans, and I'm sure fitness has a lot to do with it, but I want to talk about being a K-9 officer, because right now being a police officer is not an ideal position in society. It's I feel it's hated right now. And
absolutely.
In a lot of states, they're defunding the police, which I think is bizarre. I think they should be putting more money into the police departments for proper training,
and education.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was reading Extreme Ownership by oh my God, what's his name? Navy SEAL. I got it right over here. Joko Willenick.
Okay. I don't think I know who he is.
You should definitely read this book. I mean, I listened to him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's so intelligent. That's where I actually got that idea from. Well, obviously it's a widely known idea to actually give money to the police departments for training. But you notice that a lot of these policemen, they come into a high pressure situation and they don't know what to do. They freeze. And more often than not, they're making the wrong decision. So people have, like Navy SEALs should be training these guys.
Yeah. For sure. I agree.
It's insane. Yeah. But so, what's your take on that right now?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's not a profession that is very like, I don't know what the word is, very like praised upon. Like it's almost like a thankless job. You kind of have to, you have to have a passion for doing it.
Absolutely.
Actually, I was talking to my mom about this a few months ago. She brought up the fact that she still has a letter that I wrote in my first grade class. My teacher actually had us do like this like homework assignment. Of like, if you could do one thing for your career, like when you're older, like what will you do? And I wrote about how I want to be a police officer, and I actually read it, and like it was so cool to see like how little Adam like is still like part of me, like you know what I mean? Like I still have the same passion for what I want to do. So I think that's a huge driving factor to me, since I just wanted to do this since I was a little kid, and I know that I can spark change in the system right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see that kind of glimpse of that police officer nature in yourself in your companies that you've made, because you're giving back, and that's what being a police officer is. You don't really get much in return. It's not like you're making $1 million, which I feel that some of them should be. They're putting their lives at risk, and yeah, man, it's good stuff.
Thank you, man.
And then just from else? Yeah, just from the business side, kind of what are what's the common interview question, what's the 5-year plan? So like, what do you have planned for the future, and kind of what are your goals with your companies?
Honestly, I haven't like really sat down to really nail that out, which I probably should now that you asked that. But I definitely 5 years from now, definitely going to be in law enforcement. Going to be doing something in that field. I don't know if I'll be a canine officer yet. I don't know how much like specialized training that takes.
Yeah.
But definitely going to be in law enforcement. Definitely going to be continuing to do fitness and running this online brand. But yeah, like if 5 years from now, I think it would be cool to have like 1,000 people in my courses and bettering themselves.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
awesome. And honestly, I'm trying to get a group together, Dylan and Colin being the two other guys as of right now, but we're going to be traveling the country this spring and summer coming up, 2021, to go to different fitness events and just kind of growing the brand. And I feel like going to events like that would be such a help for any brand, really, to present yourself and to, like you said, you went to Canada. So how long ago was that? That was with what's the guy's name? Greg O'Gallagher, you said?
Yep. Yeah, Greg O'Gallagher. Yeah. So that was last summer. I think that was the end of June. Yeah, it was the last like 3 days of June. I got to fly up there. He paid for everything, put me up in a hotel.
Wow. So what was this? How did this come about?
Dude, he just like posted on his stories like, yeah, like I'm just gonna fly out one random person, swipe up, like send me a video of like why you want to come. And I'm like, all right, fuck it, like I'll excuse my language, but
No, you're
but
good.
like I was like, yeah, like why not? I'll just send him the video, probably won't get picked. And little did I know, or little to my knowledge, he like posted a video on a story. He was like, yo, if this is you, swipe up. I can't find you in my DMs. So I was like, yo, no fucking way. Like he did not pick me. So
oh my God.
yeah, he set me up with like his traveling agent. We got that all sorted out. Flew me up there. We had like a party. We went this fancy dinner we had. We went to like clubs and stuff, and I got to like pick his brain a little bit. So it was a fun time.
Oh my God. I
Holy
literally
shit.
on every single Instagram thing I see where it's like comment to like get the chance. I never do it because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to win this freaking thing. So you took a shot and it actually happened.
That goes to show, Joey, you got to start doing that.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? Win a free car, all that stuff.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so glad I did it though, because it put me in a position where like I got to meet so many people, and through that experience, I got so much exposure to people that I know now, like my business partner, Soren Dewey. I wouldn't have known him if I didn't go on that trip.
So did you meet him up there?
No. So actually, he followed Greg, and then Soren reached out to me and like proposed like a business plan. Like we just kind of met up, started being friends, and it went from there.
That's awesome. So now is he in both of your companies that you have, or?
Yeah, no. So just one. We actually made a course called the Normality Aversion Formula. It basically we basically help people start up their online business and stop living a life of normality, which is just in the name of the course is the Normality Aversion program. So we like give them a whole like mindset course, and then we hop on calls with them if they choose the coaching, and we help them find what they're gifted at and help them dive into like how to make ClickFunnels, how to reach out to people, how to start getting paying clients, everything like that.
That's awesome. Wow. So, I mean, everything just happened from this one DM or comment or whatever it was to this contest. Yeah. So that's awesome. And that just goes to show you, man, that everything happens for a reason. Like if that didn't happen, who knows where you'd be right now.
Right.
You know? So,
yeah.
Kind of crazy if you actually think about it.
It is very crazy.
And that was one thing Joey and I were talking about too, just with like going to the fitness expos and these events is, yeah, obviously all the people that are going to, buy your merch and everything. But what I kept saying was like the connections, the people you're going to meet, the people you're going to talk to and form a relationship, whether it's a business relationship or even just a friend. Like it's crazy what, these kind of events can do, in the business world and the relationships that can form. So, I mean, that's a prime example of what can happen. So
yeah, it's all about getting out there too. I mean, you see it on your Instagram alone. You go on your Instagram, you're constantly videoing yourself, talking about whatever it might be. And people struggle with that, to get on camera and actually speak their thoughts.
Dude, it's funny that you say that. I was actually like going through my old like archives. like a few days ago, and I was like, wow, I was so bad at speaking to the camera like last May. Like I looked so unconfident. Like, yeah.
Dude, it's not easy. I mean, even with this podcast, the first episode, I think I was in a complete sweat. I was drenched from head to toe. Like it's hard. Like going into new things, it's not easy. And a lot of people refrain from actually trying new things. And you know, just I feel like you got to go for it. And whatever happens, fuck, it happens, man. You know, like so that's good stuff. Yeah, I out of all the people I follow on Underdog, which isn't many, it's mostly just ambassadors and stuff like that. But you're the most prevalent one on there, with constantly putting out content. And like all the gurus say, you got to keep spitting out that content. So you're doing a great job with that, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And you can't be afraid. Like you say, put yourself out there. Like, what do you have to lose? So what? Who gives a shit what people think of you? If it makes you happy and you love doing it and you have a passion for it, go for it. Like,
so what were you posting before on Instagram before you became, like 4,000 followers later? Like you hanging out on the beach or what?
No, I was just posting just pictures of like me and my girlfriend.
Yeah. So when did it take off? Like it
took off like I would say last June, I think. Like kind of like when I went out to Canada. Like I already had like 2,000 when I went out to Canada, and then after that it kind of went up even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like before that I wasn't posting anything really.
Yeah. Were you nervous going out there to Canada?
Oh yeah, dude. I was starstruck when I met him. I was like, am I like in a YouTube video right now? Like
yeah.
It was so weird. Like seeing him in person.
Did you stutter over your first few words?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh God, that's awesome. That's a crazy. I'm still shocked by that story. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, like Dylan said, like I definitely agree with putting yourself out there, because I've lost so many like friends from just doing this fitness stuff. Like it's kind of crazy. Like, and like you said too, at the beginning, like I get like a lot of hate in my DMs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, but at the same time, there's so many people that are like so supportive, and so many cooler people that like take their spots and like
absolutely
make those people irrelevant pretty much.
Yeah, man. So on my personal account, when I first launched Underdog, it just got like I lost followers, right? And then, over the course I posted normal pictures, whatever. It's my personal account, and then I post about Underdog again. I lose more followers. It's like these people, and then as my Underdog account is growing, like the brand's growing, and it's just it's amazing to see how, for me personally, I've always had 2 or 3 friends that I've stuck close with. Because I feel like it's not about you got some people, you got 20 friends. Well, what are those friends? Are they, helping your self-growth? Like, are they knowledgeable, or are they just partying all the time? Like, these are things that I think about. And I feel like a lot of people, they're like, this kid's fucking insane. Like, what is he talking about? A friend's a friend, like go out to a party, have a few drinks, like whatever. But I'm in it to like me to push them and them to push me. And that's how, that's how I'm wired. And, you see that with a lot of other people, and that's how successful people, you see, who was it? I think it's Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. They're like best buds,
Oh, really?
richest guys in the world. So
yeah, that's
dude,
funny you say
I
that.
definitely keep my circle small too.
Yeah. It's the way to go.
It's funny you say that, Joey. I was just about to make a comment about that. It really shows like who your true friends are. And it's good to have a small group. Like, man, I don't give a fuck what people think about this. Like, you say the same thing about, your personal account losing followers, and like people just shitting on like, oh, you do a podcast, like, stuff like that. You do the podcast, or, oh, you're posing for Underdog in their shirts. It's like, man, I love doing it. And I love what I do. I don't give a fuck what people think. If you're not going to follow me because of that, by all means, unfollow me. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Right. And you put yourself out there because you're doing something you love, and people don't like that. Fuck them. I don't care. Like,
hey, so how did that? Sorry to cut you off. I was just wanted to turn it to Adam. How has that like worked with you? Because I'm sure in the beginning it was probably tough. There was a lot of even now, like there's hate. Like obviously, I get the same shit. And
Yeah,
how
but
have you
at
dealt
the
with that?
start, dude, at the start it was even worse because like
I'm
people
sure
would
it was.
come,
Yeah.
people would come from like Greg's page, and he gets a bunch of haters. So like they just came to me and started shitting on me, and
Oh
like,
shit.
bro, like it was honestly a lot of pressure, but like I knew that I could handle it, and I knew that this
Yeah.
is something I'm passionate about and something I love doing, something I'm gifted at. So I mean, really, that the fact that I love what I'm doing anyway, and this is something I would be doing whether I had Instagram or not, is
Yeah. Yeah.
something that motivates me too. Because all I do is just I don't make content. I just I don't create content. I just what do you call it? Like document it. That's what the word.
Document. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I mean, it is what it is. Like you said, like if people
Yeah.
don't fuck with it, then they're off on their own path. They can continue being unsuccessful, drinking, partying, smoking,
Yeah, man.
and yeah,
It's the same thing with my hockey career. So at Middlesex, this was the high school I went to. Your senior year, you carve out a plaque, and it stays up in some building on the wall until the time is done, right?
yeah,
And so I'm a goalie in hockey, and I pretty much did a profile picture of a goalie, and on the side of the helmet, I put PPW, which is prove people wrong, for people
mm-hmm.
who don't know that, even though you should know that. But that's kind of like, that's always been my mindset. Like, people come at me saying, in terms of hockey, they're like, this kid's a D3 athlete. He'll do well in NESCAC. Okay, great league and all that stuff. And I don't know if you're familiar, probably not. But, my goal is to play Division I college hockey. And it's like, I just kind of brush these people off, and like, it builds that fire. And I'm sure it did the same thing for you when you first started off and you're getting all this hate, and it just kind of fueled you to probably even document even more, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, exactly. It fuels my workouts. It fuels
Yeah.
my energy. I mean, I would say if you're just going off of like other people's hate, that's not good. But
No,
if you have
no.
if you have a good good motivation, good self-discipline, and then that just
Yeah.
that can help you too. Right.
Well, if you don't have the passion, right, you would have folded already.
Right.
So
No passion,
yeah.
no purpose.
There you go. There you go, man. You got the hat.
Yep.
uh, but yeah, you guys got anything else before we wrap this up? I'm sure you got some work to do or something.
Yeah, I actually have to hop on a call here in like 20 minutes, but
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really have any questions I can think of.
Yeah.
No,
Dylan, you got
no,
anything?
that was awesome. I mean, I loved hearing your story, and even just aside, like just the conversation about, building a brand, and just what motivates you to keep going, and everything like that. That's awesome. And it's great to share that story with everyone that listens. So it was
Thank you.
awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us. It was good. I'm excited to see where you're going to take your brands and your Instagram. Really, I'm going to see that thing grow too.
Yeah,
So
thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
yeah, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was it was a great interview.
He's an awesome dude. Like, that was fun. And like I
Yeah,
said, I said in the interview, like, yeah, hearing his story and talking about his underdog story specifically, but even just the conversation about his business and, the hate he faced and how he dealt with that. That's unreal. Like,
so for our listeners, Dylan, if you didn't know, I'm still recording right now, but for our
shit, my
listeners,
bad.
no, you're good. For our listeners, in the beginning, it was kind of a weird conversation with me and Adam, because I was like, oh my God, where's Dylan? Like, is he going to find his way back into the interview? So I was kind of stuttering over my words a little bit, but I kind of picked up a little bit. I don't know if I recovered completely, but yeah. So
I don't know what happened there.
yeah, no, that was, it was good. Everybody's got an underdog story. That's why we started this podcast, right? If you just look at his Instagram account, for example, you look at him and he's like, all right, he's a normal dude. He's a fitness enthusiast. He wants people to get better. But then you dig deeper, and he had one of the rarest freaking conditions you could possibly have. Right. Yeah. So it's like, went through depression, he was fighting it. He wasn't happy with who he was, and he just turned his whole life around. And we pretty much covered it all in the interview, but it's like, people just don't realize that they can change. Like, they can change whatever they want, whether it's their mindset, their physical body. Like, you just got to get up and do it.
Yeah.
The thing with me, we talked about it before, right? You go to the gym for me, you're about to do a set. You're like, Jesus, I don't want to do this set. You know, this is going to be a tough one. I go 1, 2, 3, and I get in there and I do it. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
100%. And there was there's this picture popped up my feed today, and I mean, there's so many quotes, but if it'll clear up, it'll be backwards for you, won't it? Or no?
No, I got it. Why are you complaining? Woke up this morning, say good morning.
You know, like same thing. You woke up on the right side of the bed. Like, get up, put your best foot forward, make something happen. Like, do whatever you need to do to better yourself. I mean, Kobe, we talk about Kobe lots, or we have in the past. Like, Kobe woke up and he did whatever he had to do that day to get better. It didn't matter what it was, whether it was at basketball or being a father or a husband. He was trying to get better every single day. You know, you just got to wake up and do it. And I think this podcast as a whole serves as motivation to do that. You know, people listen to this, they listen to the interview with Adam, they check his Instagram out. You know, they're motivated by what he does and how he helps.
Oh yeah, let me give their his username before I forget to do that. We gotta shout out our guest too. So it's Adam Krueger, KRUEGER _ and he's got almost 5,000 followers and he has great content daily. He does a great job with it. He's a very positive dude, interesting dude. Now I've actually talked to him, pretty much been going back and forth with him in the DMs, but yeah, man, it makes you really open your eyes to like where you are in your life. Like, we got it good. You know, we have injuries and all this stuff, and it's a completely different category. So I'm sure other people would say like, oh man, like he was out for 6 months at that time. Like, that's tough. Or he had a concussion. Like, I got some buddies who have had like 5, 6 concussions. They can't play hockey anymore. It's like all those things, like people look at that and they say the same thing as we would to somebody who had a disorder like he did. It's a completely different mindset though, obviously coming out of something like that. So it's amazing. I love this podcast. I mean, I don't care how many listeners we have. It's just, I love talking to the guests. I love talking to you guys. And if we grow, great. If not, it is what it is. Even though we're gonna buzz this thing.
But yeah, like I was saying earlier, like this serves as motivation. Like I love doing it. It helps others. I thoroughly enjoy coming on and doing what we do, you know? And again, bouncing back to what we said earlier, like, I don't care what people think. Like, people judge because we have a podcast. Like, fuck you. I don't care, you know?
I don't care. I'm making more money than them, so it's all good. and guess what? I'm doing what I love. So it's like, eat some.
100%. Yeah. And like you say, you look at the guys partying, drinking, you know, whatever it may be. Like, if that's their escape and that's what they love doing, then, you know, so be
you know
it.
what?
But I'm doing
the same thing. But they say the same thing about us. They're like, let them go, you know, work out in a gym or better themselves. You know, it's things like this, like go read your books or something like that. You know, it's like we say the same thing about them. They say the same thing about us. Everybody has a different track in life, and we're all on different trains. We're all on different buses, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's why we're so divided in this country. I truly believe, in this world, period. Yeah. Everybody is egotistical in the fact that it's their way or the highway. It's their way is the right way, and everything else is the wrong way. You know?
Yeah. So. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, even Brian. Like, I hope Brian listens to this episode. He told me the other day we were just BSing in his office, and he was telling me that he listened to one of the episodes, and he's like, "Shut it off, couldn't do it." Like he's chirping. You know how Brian is, sarcastic, chirping. I'm like, yeah, like whatever. Like, I don't care. I love doing it. And then he was like, no, like, I'm glad. Like, it's awesome. I have nothing against it. It's great. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. But like, you know what I mean? He's a guy that is glad that, you know, we're doing what we're doing, or even with the working out, like he always chirps us for working out all the time, but he knows like that's who we are. That's what we need to do. You know, like,
I remember after the games, like I'll be working out in the gym. He'll be leaving his office. He like pokes his head and he's like, "What's up, loser?"
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, but, dude, I'm kind of bummed Colin wasn't here. I feel like we would have had even better conversation. You know, it's just like a different character, a different point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Just another opinion. Like it's good to pick it up. But shout out to Colin. We're missing you. Yeah. I don't know. We haven't heard from him.
Honestly, we weren't really buzzing today at all. I didn't feel like we were buzzing today. We didn't have that oomph, you know. I feel like we always get into that groove, you know. At least me, I wasn't doing so hot, but it was good. I feel like we could have got more out of them. We could have asked more questions, but it was kind of a last minute thing. So we did the best that we could. So
Yeah,
I'm happy
no,
with
it
it.
went well. I should have freaking came home earlier, but I came home as soon as I could after work.
Yeah, it's all good.
But
So I want to give a little update on some of the Rebirth collection. So for the sleeveless hoodies, it is now $30. If you subscribe, you get $10 off. So it's a huge loyalty thing, huge community thing. We want you to join the community, subscribe to the email list, be a part of our tight-knit community where you're getting all the information, all the podcast info, and you get rewarded with $10. So sign up and use the code Rebirth10. That is in all caps for your $10 off. And we also have the Rebirth Collection hoodies, the regular hoodies coming in. It's going to be a fall drop. 3 different colorways. They're all different types of camo. So Dylan, pretty sick, right? You saw
yeah,
them.
those are unreal. I love them. I think wasn't that in the email too? Everyone on the newsletter seen that already, right?
Yeah, so only people who have subscribed have seen all 3 colorways. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for them to come in. So
yeah, they look good. I can't wait.
You got anything else?
I think that's about all I got.
We're good. All right, yeah.
It's a long day. Being
Yeah,
at the 6:15, home at 7:30. So
it's tough doing a pod this late at night. If anybody cares, it is 8:47 on Monday. So we are preparing a week in advance for our next episode release. And I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Put in wood floors today, skated, worked out. Like, oh my God, just too much.
Is that what you're up to? Yeah, give us a rundown. What does your Monday look like today, Joe?
Today was work. Oh, actually, got up at 5:20. You ever have those mornings where you get up and it's so dark in your room, you look at your phone, you're like, there's no way this is my alarm. You look at the time and you're like, it's already time to get up. What the hell? Except I was flying this morning, dude. I popped up right out of bed. Sometimes because I take that Z-Quil the night before, and man, that knocks you out. Like the next morning, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's brutal. But today was good. And then after that, so I lifted, worked for a few hours, skated, back to work, and then I did my conditioning. Worked for a little bit on my laptop, and then here we are on the pod. So, yeah, it was a good one. But I have a few interviews lined up, so I'm excited about that. And we're going to be ripping a few episodes coming up. And I don't know, we might be ending season 1 soon, temporarily for a few weeks, and then starting season 2. So we'll probably take like 3-4 weeks off from the pod, try to line up some solid interviews for season 2. But yeah.
No, it'll be looking good. I'm excited for the interviews coming up. And then, yeah, like we say, once we jump into our season, I guess for any of the listeners that really care, our season is scheduled for October 9th. So we'll see what happens then. Maybe we'll be ripping pods in the hotel pregame before
dude. Oh yeah, we definitely will. Absolutely. And we'll probably we're gonna have a ton of interviews lined up. And about this whole season thing, man, it is not looking so good. With Corpus is a team in our league, and they just canceled their season. They're just not in it because obviously most of their money comes from ticket sales. If anybody cares, they pack house 4,000 people a night, so that's where their revenue is coming from. And we're gonna have to play. So our home rinks in Massachusetts, we're gonna have to play in Rhode Island or Connecticut or New Hampshire, whatever it is. And
until Mass opens up, our home games will be out of state, which is kind of crazy, but it is what it is. We're doing whatever it takes to play hockey. So I don't care. I'll play wherever.
Yeah, man, I will play wherever. Let's make an outdoor rink. Let's go back to Alaska. We were buzzing out there. Yeah,
let's make a bubble. Love a null bubble in Alaska. Get all the teams up there.
That'd be sick.
the null bubble. Oh, someone will die in there. My God.
Yeah, no kidding, right? If it's not on the ice, it'll be like 2 teams in the locker room or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. No kidding. What are we worried about COVID for?
God. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up. Thanks for everybody who listened. And we got a good interview for episode 10, which is after this one. And he's got 18K followers on Instagram. He's got multiple companies. Very excited about it. And he's actually moving to around you, Dylan, about an hour south of you in Cape Cod. So,
Wow.
so yeah, it'll be a good one. But thanks, guys.